Dear friends, welcome to our Dharma Chakra channel. We are discussing this Honorable Supreme Court under Chief Justice Honorable Suryakant ji. We have already made two videos in this regard, highly appreciated by the students of various law colleges. And this presentation we are going to deliver before a very big college shortly. Now, Honorable Chief Justice Suryakant, ever since taking over, he made his priorities very clear and firm. The first step is that any downtrodden, underprivileged, poor people, when they are approaching the Supreme Court, Lordship made it very clear the Supreme Court is for them. It's not just for rich and mighty. He wanted to bring that feeling, and he's trying his best. We'll see the day before yesterday, Lordship for economically weaker section, on the last minute, just where the bench was about to raise, he passed a favorable order using the Article 141, 142 of the Constitution. So this is a matter of, we all have to understand. It is not one side, everybody is expecting Supreme Court is the ultimate solve. Then the Lordship is very clear that his priorities are very well defined in the time, etc. Political battles have to be fought only in the floor of Parliament or in the People's Court. At the same time, he is not thinking when that requires for transparency, the Lordship is going all out for that. We are going to take up the discussion on the Special Intensive Revision Scheme that started when Lordship was not the Chief Justice, and it is continuing even the last week where Honorable Chief Minister of West Bengal, Mamata Banerjee, presented her case before their Lordships, who heard carefully, and thereafter made it very clear the role of Supreme Court, the role of Election Commission, and the nation. Many papers, different views are taken. That is natural. In a democracy, you cannot have unanimous view, and you should not have. But then, as students of law, one has to approach the issue rationally. We listen to every views, but then what could be the correct view is it is for the students to understand rationally. For example, you take this Special Intensive Revision Scheme. When the leader of the opposition made a startling presentation in Mahadevapura, we all felt that there is something wrong. The elections are being rigged. But then here Mr. Rahul Gandhi left it at that. The election commission, the problem was the election commission's reaction, the chief election commissioner's reaction was very hostile. That giving impression is only siding the party in power. Maybe, may not be, but the people have started believing something is wrong. Then Mr. Rahul Gandhi came and gave one more presentation. That also shocked the nation. And there was a burning issue. In fact, I would like to share, I filed one writ petition influenced by these events. And that went up to Honorable Chief Justice Suryakant ji. We will discuss that. It was very kind, very kind. I'm objectively analyzing it, friends. If you see how did he handle Lordships, you see that case. It is a Election Commission of India empowered under the Constitution to do this revision of roles. It's their duty. People die and they have to be replaced. These things is a part of the duty of the election. If they don't do, we should question. Now, if you see one beautiful statement he made, so he is concerned for the nation. His concern for the poor and downtrodden should be looked at it. It cannot be interpreted. Rohingya, that people coming from various other countries, they are taking Aadhaar cards. They are enjoying that fruits of the Aadhaar card. But the question before us is, what about our natural resources themselves are too small, and that should be spent for our children. So he made that statement very forthright. He doesn't think twice. Though it was criticized, everybody realized, yes, what Lordship is saying, what Honorable Supreme Court says is perfect. Because we are concerned about our nation, our people, our children, our downtrodden. The resources have to be used for them. And everybody slowly started accepting it. Coming to these electoral rolls, dear friends, the view Lordships handled so well. Yes, first he made sure several meetings allowed all the leading opposition parties to represent themselves. Yogendra Yadav was given 10 minutes time. Calmly listen to them. What is their real view? Their view is that there is the BJP, the government is manipulating the system, and votes are, that is, people who think they vote for particular opposition party are being removed. That is how the oppositions are fed. Then Lordships, after a lot of hearing, he was asking one question. All right, we have made everything. Now, suppose, for example, X name is not there. We are ensuring that the person who is not there can see that his name is there or not. If his name is not there, the remedial also system is there or not. That's all. That's what court can say. The fair procedure. Understand? Suppose my name is removed. How will I know before the election? There is a system. The election commission is made accountable for it. Two, when the person is illiterate and all, then the parties are saying that they are removing name. Then the party workers have to duty bound to ensure these people's name is included. So the system has to take care. The spontaneity has to be fixed in the system. That's what the Lordship was. Correct? No? What is wrong in that? And then Bihar elections, what happened? The before elections, 10,000 was transferred, and then BJP won landslide. Again, opposition parties made hue and cry. But the fact is, what court can do? Once the elections are announced or before that, is Election Commission of India which has to take care of it. When you give the role to Election Commission, how Supreme Court will keep on interfering in this? But he did not, Lordships did not say. He realized that freebies are one big pain for this nation. And in March, they are going to hear this. See, steadily and slowly and cautiously, issues are coming. But then, if the opposition parties or anybody who are not interested, they make a lot of criticism. Of course, he is highly appreciated all over. The strength of this respect is growing by the day. He is not seen, though many people keep saying, but very few will subscribe to his view. That is a fair judge sitting firm, fair, firm, dedicated, committed to his views. Now, just Honorable Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee came. Then he heard her. Everything is solution is there. The states cannot be preventing, no, obstructing that process, which is empowered by the Constitution. So within that framework, what are the loopholes, you say? So every student must realize what judiciary can do. Can judiciary be a solution for everything? When the problems are there, each doctrine of separation of powers, each organ of state is empowered to do certain things. Only when they go out of their boundaries, then the Supreme Court, by virtue of the judicial review, will come into the picture. That is what the Lordship's clear-cut view. And by the day, even the government is respecting. He's not pushing himself. Many things are, what he's talking is practical. Even he is very much criticized for the workers, domestic workers issue. Many leading judges wrote on that. Maybe that is their view. I am not trying to comment these things. But when a law is implemented, when you go to the Supreme Court, when Supreme Court says something, it is feasibility, impact analysis also has to be understood. And when it is Ambani, Anil Ambani, misuse of IBC legislation, Lordship passed the order for serious fraud investigation. So there's no big, small and all. So we cannot ignore all these things. That is where the Honorable Supreme Court stature is increasing by the day. Let there be a lot of discussion on these things, because domestic workers is a different ball game, and it is not an organized sector. And any such, I think there is a spontaneity is there. Forces of demand and supply will decide issues. And there are enough laws are there in case somebody misuses their domestic workers, things like that. But nevertheless, he never said anything. And definitely trade unions is, both views are there. Understand? So now broad consensus is that majority of the decisions, the Lordship's court is certain. If you are going to bring political issues and try to capitalize the even one other case of Chief Minister of Assam, and somebody filed a case. So he is very clearly said we will not entertain this. And recently Jairam Ramesh has also said he will impose costs. Understand? So therefore, now before you go to the Honorable Supreme Court, you be very clear that don't take political issues and then take credit for these things. That's not. And you can easily understand how the Supreme Court is thinking. And the Lordships, one thing, I appeared before the Lordships and I watched the Lordships adjudication. The bench itself is one of the best benches, very knowledgeable. They come prepared and all. The Lordship has a fantastic memory and solution spot, that is court adjudicating skills. Then based on situation, Lordship can understand. This is what we have been watching and all. And every student may ask any points to be raised and all. In that perspective, what statement of facts, what is my goal as a professional management consultant? As explained, this is what we are priority for us. The fundamental right violations, poor and downtrodden, access to justice. You can't get everything over a period. It is slowly and steadily. And every facet of the aspect is being tested. And that could be tested by, the respect he commands now among the fraternity of top lawyers, junior lawyers are like him very much. All are highly respecting, not out of fear, out of love. And now let's go to the discussions in this case. This is the broad subject which I have wanted to say, and how the Supreme Court is looking at the special intensive revisions unimpeded, the Honorable Supreme Court's mandate on electoral integrity, analysis of the Supreme Court's intervention in the Special Intensive Revision 26 and its implications for the federal cooperation. The Supreme Court has issued a categorical observation that the special intensive revisions of electoral rolls must continue uninterrupted across all states regardless of the political objections. Perfect. As seen, we have reached a state where we need to make that statement. You understand? And Lordship in Bihar, he asked political parties, 60 lakhs you said removed and all. But not even one complaint has come before us saying that his name is removed. And then they were trying to say 10,000 is transferred. That's a different ball game. Your election is being fought in a different plane. How Supreme Court can control all these things was the thing at the appropriate moment. Right. In response to allegations of the obstruction in West Bengal, the court has signaled strict monitoring, including demanding a personal affidavit from the state director. So that's clear. So he doesn't want every state government to take over. The federal structure will be impacted. Today it's the opposition, BJP is there. Tomorrow the same Congress will come or somebody else. Balance. While empowering the election commission under Article 324 and 25, the court simultaneously directed sensitivity regarding voter discrimination. So, at the same time, they are making sure the election commission functions in a very transparent manner. And you are aggrieved by that. What is the scope of action that judiciary can take? And what is the scope of action the political parties should take? Now, you have seen that the current special intensive revision of electoral rolls faced immediate legal and administrative challenges. Challenges by the West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee questioned the SAR methodology and voter categorization. The Election Commission alleged severe operational headwinds, citing violence, intimidation, and disruption against the officials. Stakes the direct clash between state political leadership. Here, I am of the opinion, though Honorable Chief just heard Mamata Madam, but he came to the conclusion, you go on entertaining like this, then every state will start misusing this as if a limelight. And what is the law? Let's implement it. And what they should do, if there is any defects, we'll answer it. They said a lot of BLOs died and all. So they wanted electoral officers to take care of that. Increase number of people. The state government should provide more numbers. Everything he addressed. That is what is the things. Now you will say, no, we should have paper ballots and all that. And that is electronic. No, there is no problem with the electrical voting. This is what, see, I have filed a case believing it. But now we realize that the entire issue, the gamut of the system, everybody is asking, why don't we have ballot slips also and test ones? That how Lordships is going to take, why don't he try that? That may change the color of the Supreme Court. Give it one chance that these elections, major elections, can be on the parallelly. Then see what's happening, because it's not that only one government is coming in. Though there is a feeling they may have a better machinery, and that point I think slowly will be Lordship may be addressing, because the removal of the Chief Justice in the selection committee was being challenged now. I think that my Lordships is going to hear that. CJI distinguished between specific grievances and overall process. While necessary interim directions may be issued when required, the core ruling is that revision process itself must continue uninterrupted. This explicitly separates the adjudication of legal complaints from the administrative execution. Correct. Can anybody say no? The reason, this was a direct response to alleged attempts to derail the process through intimidation. By involving the top law enforcement officer directly, the court signals it's monitoring the implementation of the orders on the ground, not just the legal arguments. So that, what is the impediment? Political obstruction, administrative delays, physical disruption. These three things were recognized. The constitutional shield, judicial backing for electoral roll purification as non-negotiable obligation. See, that's. The court affirmed that it will not permit administrative or political obstruction to these plenary issues. The national signal beyond West Bengal. CJI Suryakant ji explicitly stated that all states must understand the gravity of the mandate. Any obstruction of the SAR in any part of India invites immediate judicial intervention. The states have mandatory duty to cooperate in election-related statutory processes. The message. Ruling serves as a preventive warning to other state governments regarding obstruction tactics. Balancing act, efficiency versus rights. See, this is the beauty of the Lordship's approach, judicial approach. Uninterrupted SAR workflow, roll purification. Voter rights, sensitive handling of discrepancies, no disenfranchisement. Caveat, while protecting the process, the bench directed the ECI to be sensitive regarding the discrepancy notices. Formula, the process continuity, individual voter rights safeguarded. Excellent, that's what we want. The basic structure doctrine, core principle. The observation reinforces that free and fair elections are part of basic structure. Statutory obligation, electoral roll revision is not optional, it is continuous. Judicial restraint. Courts generally avoid halting election-related administrative process unless there is manifest illegality, preferring to correct the issues without stopping the machinery. Now, This is a litigant. The observation can be cited analogy in broader administrative law context. You understand? This is very important. When we are challenging the fraudulent acts of IBC, then this could be the basis. It establishes the precedent to argue against the administrative obstruction by statutory authorities who ignore binding directions. Right. Now, zero tolerance, that's already explained. Here is, I find it extremely good. Analyzing the evolving contours of Article 142 in the context of medical, this is, that's what letter and spirit is believing, Lordships. A bench led by Chief Justice of India, Suryakant, recently directed the provisional admission of a NEET qualified EW economic weaker section student. The candidate had been denied a seat due to specific policy gaps. The implication, this was not a routine administrative order, it was an intervention to prevent the irreparable injustice of a meritorious student losing an academic year due to regulatory inconsistency. Yeah, I've seen it in one of the hearings. One very intelligent madam, PhD, double PhD, and the Lordship, that madam applied for judicial magistrate exam, and marks were less, and revaluation what asked. Revaluation is not allowed. And then the Lordship said the revaluation we cannot allow because that's not there in the law. Then when they wanted to withdraw, suddenly Lordship remembered that case and asked, where is it, madam? He called her and he passed in order in a way that is not overruling anything. You understand? Law within the domains of four corners of law. And but at the same time, the respect to the education, the national resource. I'm so grateful. It's not that he just saw me, and when I was going, I was facing 1 lakh rupees fine imposed by Madras High Court. But the Lordship just looked at me. Suddenly, he looked at me and said, "Hi, Professor, why this election, this thing, and all? You can do a great job for this judiciary, and we'll set aside all these things." Like that, highly respectable disposition, a kindness, manifest kindness. And so, therefore, this is an important thing for the nation, and we need to understand the functioning of Supreme Court. And I would like you to read the other things, dear friends, and let's take up in the next 2 months. After that, we'll be there. I'm Venkat Kumar, dear friends. I've been the professor in strategic finance management for quite some time. Trained more than 2 lakh students. Now, last 10 years, I'm preparing on this constitutional law. I'm preparing books on court crafting techniques, my experiences, and this video is one such things. Good day and good luck. Thank you. Yatisadama. Idama.